it's like, I don't know, everybody threw their hat in the ring and they called their agent and they said, make me pig number 1.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Hi, I'm Luke.
And I'm Becca, and we're talking about movies like we know stuff.
Hey everyone. So we saw Zootopia 2, Disney's newest box office hit. Honestly, it's doing really well, and I can see why. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was very entertaining.
Not as good as the first one.
Yeah.
In like typical sequel fashion. But honestly, I feel like we have a lot of good things to say about it.
Yeah, I would say so.
But to give a quick synopsis, and honestly, I did feel like the plot got a little bit messy, so I'm going to cheat and read something from Gemini. Zootopia 2 follows rookie partners Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde as they investigate a mysterious snake, Gary the Snake, who is trying to expose a conspiracy related to Zootopia's founding and its climate-controlling weather walls, uncovering dark secrets about the city's powerful Linksley family, and facing a test of their partnership as they delve into the city's hidden history and confront corruption. So I think that's kind of a vague way of saying that essentially the movie opens up only a week after the events of the first movie, which I have feelings on, which I'll talk about later.
Sure, yeah.
And Nick and Judy, they're both cops, they're assigned as partners together, and essentially there's some concern that somebody is going to steal this manual of Zootopia that explains how the climate controlling like walls work between all the different ecosystems that exist in Zootopia. And there's concern that it's going to be stolen by a snake in particular, because you find out in this movie that the reptiles are an ostracized group of animals.
Yeah, they're not part of Zootopia, or the Zootopia city.
Not really, right? They're on the outskirts, kind of in their own, almost like a slum.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
The movie essentially is about Judy and Nick initially trying to protect this manual, and then finding out that there's basically more racism and systemic issues within Zootopia that they are trying to overcome.
Right.
And that's basically it. I would say I think the plot for this one's a little messy, which is why for the first time I went to Google to reference the synopsis.
Right, yeah, that is saying something, for sure.
But I did like it, and I think we're gonna start out with spoiler-free thoughts. So if you want to go see it, you can listen to this and not have no fear of finding out what actually happens.
Right.
And then we'll give you a big old warning when to click away, and we'll talk more about our nitty-gritty opinions.
Exactly. So I'll start off with just high-level spoiler-free thoughts, in that I think the movie met my expectations. That's my overall feeling for this movie. It didn't blow me away. It's not the next big movie, but it's a good movie. It is. It really is. It's well animated. It's well acted. It's funny.
It's entertaining. The pacing is good.
Yeah, exactly. I
wasn't bored.
Yeah, very entertaining. It met expectations. That's really the big bullet point I'm going to keep coming back to, is that it met my expectations. So I thought it was a good movie.
I thought a couple notes I made were that the puns are alive and well.
Yeah, tons of puns, which we'll get into in the spoiler section.
And the creativity of the world is still alive and well.
Yeah.
And more nods to other Disney movies, which I thought was very fun and very smart. Because a lot of people mistake these computer animated movies as Pixar when Zootopia is Disney.
Yeah.
So it was fun that they didn't reference other Pixar movies, they referenced other Disney movies. And I thought that was a nice homage to what Pixar does.
Yes, yeah. But this is a great movie that you can take your kids to see. There's no issue, I think, with that, where we've talked about that kind of issue with other movies that we've watched that have maybe been on edge. Things like Elio, I would say. A little edgy for children.
Yeah, I'd say the only part I didn't like was there's one scene that's particularly gross.
Oh, yeah.
One scene with insects where I was dry heaving.
You just don't like bugs, so that wasn't good for you. But it's good
riddance to the It's Tough to Be a Bug show in Animal Kingdom. I hated you.
But that scene's not that bad. It can just be a little gross, just in the fun sense, I guess. Although fun's probably hard argued by you, and that it probably wasn't fun for you.
Yeah, but I mean, there's other movies to this day that I still look away during parts that I find icky, but it doesn't make me not watch the movie. It just makes me say I'm gonna close my eyes, or I'm not gonna eat anything
Right.
while watching this scene.
Right. Exactly.
But I would say that I felt like the creativity and how the world operated was just as creative as the first one, if not more. Something that I was surprised by is I felt like this movie had more cameos than a Muppet movie.
It really did. There were a lot of big name actors in this movie.
Which was fun and fine. I just wasn't used to it, that out of nowhere, it's like, oh, the voice of Moana has 2 lines in this?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's in it, Andy Samberg's in it.
Right, but he's a bigger part.
Yeah, he is a bigger part, yeah, but still, just tons of cameos.
But a lot of one-offs, a lot of people that, they probably made a lot for those 2-liners.
McCulkin's in it, Brenda's in it. Yeah, tons of references, tons of cameos.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, everybody threw their hat in the ring and they called their agent and they said, make me pig number 1.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I'd say that was it. I would say it also met expectations in some ways. They were a little bit exceeded. I felt like the quality was still there. While I still feel like the first one is still better overall.
Sure, yeah, I would agree.
Like the first one, and this came out quite a while ago, the first one inspired me actually to find like a better job. I was working in a job that I had felt like I had stagnated in.
I didn't know that.
And it inspired me to really get my resume out there and to apply for the next role I had that I had a longer tenure at.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Judy's whole journey and even that corny Shakira song, I would listen to it on my iPod.
Yeah.
Going to interviews. So like it impacted me. I wouldn't say that this impacted me. But I enjoyed it, and it felt so reliable and so back to what I've come to expect from Disney.
Yeah.
It's like I can count on a good movie at least a couple of times a year.
Exactly.
So that was a nice feeling.
Yeah, it was nice to have another good Disney movie in the quiver, Yeah, absolutely. All right, that will conclude our spoiler-free section of Zootopia 2. If you do not want to hear any spoilers or have yet to see the movie and don't want spoilers, click away now. All right, and if you're still with us, then here come the spoilers. Be prepared.
So many spoilers.
It's
not that juicy.
The spoilers aren't that juicy.
But don't listen to them.
Exactly.
You haven't seen it.
So I just have to kick us off with just the number of memes, references, and puns that were in this movie, because there were a ton of them.
Yeah, you made a list.
I made a whole list. So, Becca, you'll have to find this clip in post so that people can reference the Vine. Because I'm not actually a big fan of this Vine, but apparently it's big enough to make it into Zootopia too.
Yeah.
So it's and they were roommates Vine. That makes a reference into Zootopia very early on in the movie.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I guess.
I wasn't a Vine kid. So.
I never found that Vine very funny, but it clearly was popular. Tons of references, like it's 2011. They had a ton of "What does the fox say" references in it.
Yeah, I could have done without that.
Yeah, it's like, that's an old one. That one kind of wore itself out.
That would be a con.
That one was definitely a con for sure. There was a nice call out too, as you said in the spoiler free section, call outs to Disney movies. There was a Ratatouille call out
I love
in
that
this
one.
one. That was a pretty good call out. There's a very clear and obvious Godfather reference with the possums being
Which that
the
was
Dons.
the first one too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they
You're
were
probably
repeat
right.
characters. Running the totally legitimate purse company.
Yeah, that's right, the totally legitimate first company. Yeah, that was really funny. There's a Hungry Hippos reference where fruit starts rolling down a ramp and there's hippos and they
hippo
start
cops.
eating the fruit. I thought it was kind of funny that there was like black market Disney comics in the reptile slums. I thought that was kind of funny.
They did have that in the first one too.
They had black market Disney comics in the first one too?
Like Disney DVDs.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah.
It's
funny. Okay, you probably saw it like once.
I saw it a couple of times.
We weren't dating at the time, so you had no reason to watch these on repeat.
Exactly. There's a huge reference to the Burning Man Festival in this. I think they called it the Burning Mammal, I think is what they called it. And that's actually where, it's actually the second time when the Shakira song shows up, because they play it, I think, in the intro, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and then they play it at Burning Mammal. And just to deviate from the puns real quick, the Shakira song was a bop. I really enjoyed that song. We actually listened to it on the way home from the movie theater.
We did. We were grooving.
It was such a good one. It makes my feet tap. It makes my hips shake, you know. not the biggest Shakira fan, but her 2 songs for Zootopia have been good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They very catchy.
She's an addition, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, she's a good addition.
For sure, yeah. And of course, Shakira Gazelle makes an appearance again, so it's pretty cool to see. There's a very clear Coca-Cola reference with a bear drinking a soda in the winter.
Very.
They make a CNN reference with ZNN.
ZNN.
And you actually had to point this one out to me because I haven't seen this movie yet, or at least I didn't know it well enough, but there was a very big Shining reference in the middle of the movie as well.
Yeah, and the maze.
Yeah.
The hedge maze.
Yeah, pretty cool. And then some puns that they had that I saw that were kind of funny. They had YouTube, but it was EWE, YouTube.
Yeah. Do you think they got like the team from Bob's Burgers just to come and edit the script?
I think that they just had to make funny puns for pop culture references and just make them animal themed.
Yeah,
basically.
they definitely had a pun team.
They definitely had a pun team for sure. They had, of course, because it's Disney, they had Hulu Zoo, I think is what they called that. That was the weakest pun reference in my opinion, but it's Hulu, but it's called Hulu Zoo, I think is what it was called.
Hulu Zoo.
And then going into Google, they had Zoogle on their computers. And I think that was about it for all the puns and references, because it's just so many. I'm sure I forgot some. Leave us a comment if you can think of any other puns or references that we may have missed in this movie.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a fun rewatch. It's probably going to fall in the camp of you need to see it a couple times to really grab everything. But you know what the biggest miss is for reference?
Yeah.
Not calling the movie Zootopia.
Zootopia.
It's the most obvious one they've left on the table.
Yeah, I can buy that one, yeah.
I mean, if the rest of the movie is going to speak in like the language of a Bob's Burgers intro, they could have made the title Zootopia.
For sure, yeah. They should have hired you for all the references.
They should have. They should have. Call me Disney.
There you go.
DM me.
I like it. Is there anything negative you could say about the movie?
Kind of. My biggest complaint is that this movie falls into the same sequel problems that a lot of them do.
Okay.
Where the sequels just tend to be, we're going to undo everything that was resolved in the first movie, so we can have a second one.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought it was kind of ridiculous that this movie only happened technically a week after the first one.
Yeah.
I think canonically it should have happened like a year later.
Sure.
Because it's only a week later, and the captain of the police force...
They just saved Zootopia 1.
Exactly. And uncovered all this political corruption. And the chief police officer...
Bogo, I think.
He is already giving Nick and Judy all this crap that he's like, I'm not convinced you work well together as a team if you don't prove that you can.
Yeah.
I'm going to split you up and make you both meter maids or whatever the threat was.
Yeah.
And
you
if
gotta
they
go to therapy.
They had to go to work therapy.
Couples therapy, yeah.
And I thought that it would have been much more effective if maybe a year had passed and they were kind of struggling to communicate and to work well together.
Right.
That I didn't think enough time had passed. That it seemed like at the end of the first movie, we established that they saved the day, Nick is trusted, Judy's finally respected, and we open up on the second movie, and they're all in the bullpen waiting for the assignments, and all their coworkers are just being dicks. They're just being rude to them.
Right.
And
it's like they just saved the city. You can't even give them a week of
Right, a couple days later, they're just like one-hit wonders, and it felt really ingenuine, and it felt very because the movie needed to happen.
Yeah.
And I just also think it's pretty ridiculous in the Zootopia world that in only 2 weeks that there's this insane amount of political upheaval.
Right.
Like, wow. These people, they're never going to feel like they can vote again.
I know.
This is going to be the most apathetic society.
It's true, yeah.
All their leaders are corrupt.
Right, yeah. It's crazy.
It just, the timeline, it didn't kill it for me, but it hurt it.
Yeah.
Almost that in my mind, I want to pretend like this happened later than it did.
A year later, yeah.
Because it was ridiculously fast. The happy ending fell apart so quickly, and I don't love that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. That's a great point. I don't have anything too strong to say in terms of negative things, because overall, it was a good movie. I think, like you said in the spoiler-free section, is that the plot is a little wandery sometimes. There's a lot of meandering, a lot of side quests, a lot of side story hustles that kind of happen. And I know those are important to make a movie more interesting, but it just seems like we gotta have this really long, fun chase scene just because we want to have a long, fun chase scene.
Lots of chase scenes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I feel like the direction of the movie was getting lost, where it was like,
Right.
oh, about gentrification and about racism and about lack of communication and insecurity.
Insecurities and going to therapy and dealing with internal struggles. Yeah.
And these are all really relatable things.
Sure.
But it was a little all over the map.
Yeah.
I feel like how they presented them.
Yep. Agreed.
So on a smaller note, I feel like not casting Logan Roy as the head of the Linksley family, who are clearly the Murdochs, was a huge miss.
You think they're the Murdochs in this?
I think they're kind of the Murdochs.
Huh.
I mean, they're just like the corrupt family in power, and not
Yeah.
having the actor who plays Logan Roy be the head was a miss.
Yeah.
I don't care it was another baddie. It would have been so much more effective.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, the gentleman who did play the head of the family of bad guys, I've only seen him in one other thing, and he plays the bad guy CIA leader in Jason Bourne for one of them. I can't remember which one he plays.
I knew he was another Jason Bourne baddie, so
Yeah.
that gave him a little bit of a pass.
Right, yeah.
But I just feel like that was a casting
Yeah, his voice was okay for
miss.
it. But there probably could have been a little bit stronger casting on that one.
Yeah.
Maybe Logan Roy, I don't know. Yeah.
So, and I wasn't surprised that they were corrupt, because I feel like you could see that coming from a mile
Oh,
away.
yeah.
But I did ask you after the movie ended, have I become a naive movie viewer that I didn't see Andy Samberg's character, Robert, him being the twist villain?
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. And same thing I said to you before, is that I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, either it was well hidden, or we were just here's what happened. We knew this was kind of a candy movie a little bit, so we kind of turned our brains off and just kind of enjoyed it.
Maybe.
That's what I did. So maybe that's why I didn't see it coming, because I wasn't really thinking hard about this movie.
No, neither was I.
Yeah. So maybe
also,
that's why.
we love Andy Samberg
Yeah.
as an actor, so I think a little bit of that. Like, oh, he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He could never do that.
I've never seen him play a bad guy role before, so
Yeah.
it was.
I think that's,
different.
for me, that is a little bit of a knock for the movie, though. Because the first one had a twist villain, and for the second one to also have a twist villain with a character who acts like they're Judy's friend,
Yeah.
that's a little lazy.
Yeah.
That's something that I was really enjoying, where you meet the Linksley family and they reveal themselves to be corrupt very quickly, and I'm like, yeah, finally, a bad guy. The bad guy who swivels around in the chair and says, I've been expecting you. Like, these are the villains
That's
that
a cat, yeah.
I've been, like, missing.
Yeah.
And, like, oh, it's just another, like, insecure dude. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, I sympathize with that. And the fact that they did it twice is starting to become a pattern.
I could have seen the Paubert character vacillating or having a moment where he considers betraying them, or he does betray them and then he changes his mind. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't care about my family's legacy. I want to do the right thing. And that would have been more passable. But at the end, he's just like, nope, I'm going to stab
I'm
you in
a
the
bad
I'm
guy.
going to stab you in the back with the Moana pen.
With the Moana pen.
Or whatever he had. This
Yeah. No,
snake.
the antidote was voiced by Moana.
Yeah, the, like, snake fang he
Yeah.
had on hand.
The anti-venom, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So, again, it's Zootopia 2. But they had a long time to make this,
They
and I
did.
think they could have thought of a different villain resolution
Sure. Yeah.
than that one.
Yep. But yeah, this is just a beautiful movie overall. And so with that, I think we are ready to give the scores for the movie. And I'm going to let you start because I have gone first the last couple of times.
I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give it an 8. I think it's better. A 7 would be insulting. I do think it's better than an average score.
Yeah.
I do think it excels. And the thing it excels in, it really excels in. And the things that bother me aren't enough to make me not recommend it or for me not to watch it again. It's not going to blow my mind. It's not going to be on my frequent rewatch list, but I do think it was genuinely good. And
Yeah.
if Disney could keep moving in this direction,
be
then
great.
I could see more 9s and 10s coming my way to
Sure.
theaters.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. Well, with that, I'm going to give it an insulting 7.
sorry. That's why we don't talk about it.
Yeah,
so we can
exactly.
have unbiased.
Unbiased opinions on it.
Yeah, unbiased score.
Yeah, this movie, like I said in the beginning, it met my expectations. It did not exceed my expectations. It did not underperform my expectations. It just met them.
Yeah.
It's a colorful
You
movie.
weren't overwhelmed or underwhelmed. You
I
were
was
just whelmed.
Exactly. You got it. Yep, exactly. So I would say you don't have to rush out to the theater to go see this. If you got Disney Plus, just wait for it to come there and watch it at home in the comfort of your home with your family. So not a hard theater drive, in my opinion. But a good movie, worth watching.
But if you do want to take your family to see a Disney movie that is going to be good, I think it would still be like a pleasant night out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not saying don't go see it at the theater. Just, you don't have to
If you're stressed around the holiday.
stress to get it done. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate your support of our channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps our little growing channel out. Thank you for all our longtime viewers. We really appreciate you guys. Have a great night.
Bye.